You're going to like this one. Nerd Dictation. Open source, powerful, lightweight, voice to text tool that runs on your system. And it's completely free, open source, and my favorite part, runs completely local. My name is Art, this is Containers Tech, and let's take a peek at Nerd Dictation. This is Nerd Dictation. It's free and open source and very lightweight. A benefit of this platform is it's pretty agnostic to where you run it. It's basically just a Python script, but also it runs locally and even on really light hardware. Let's dive in and how I set this up. The good news about this is it's incredibly flexible. It's really on you of how you set it up. The bad news about this is it's really flexible and it's on you to figure out how to set this up. And the way I did it, I think, is probably the path of least resistance for my particular workflow. Because often when I need to use my voice to dictate something, it makes sense to click the thing, let her rip in whatever program, whether it's an email on my browser, a chat application, or even in NeoVim, because it just takes over like a virtual keyboard, if you would. I've set it up on my GNOME desktop environment, and the way you integrate it with your system is basically you're kind of up to on your own on that one. But there's some really cool tools to get you started. And some people just want to launch from the command line, and that's okay too. It really breaks down to a few parts here. First, you have the Nerd Dictation, which is basically an elaborate Python script that connects to the VOSK text-to-voice model set, which you can download the models here. I'm currently using the tiny 40 megabyte English language model, and it does about 98% of what you need. The 1.8 gigabyte one is going to be more accurate, but it's such a beast in terms of size and RAM usage that it takes a little bit extra time for it to spin up. And you're usually better off with the smaller model, because the smaller model is like almost as good. But let's go into this here. So when it's installed and set up, you basically have commands: nerd dictation begin, nerd dictation end. You can of course alias these out to different things. You can macro, you can do whatever. The installation system is pretty straightforward. You are going to install VOSK, the pip library, which most Linux systems should have Python and Python pip. If not, I will link down below where you can dig into how to get pip installed on most systems. I can't really help individuals if you're having trouble with the Python system, but again, most modern systems kind of handle this very elegantly. After you are in there, you are going to grab this repo, which is good. And this one recommends grabbing that same 40 megabyte tiny little model, and they have you unzip it and drop it into the folder model. And I will show you this on my machine. Now, I've made the very deliberate decision to drop it in the folder .config/nerd-configuration, because a lot of the tools are going to kind of expect things to be there. Inside this model folder is the elements of the VOSK 40 megabyte model, just extracted there. And now with Nerd Dictation, this is the actual the Python library you run. This is where it goes. So let's open up a terminal real quick. And if I type in Python 3 Nerd Dictation begin, you'll see that it starts printing out what I'm writing. Now that's not an ideal situation on its own, but what I've done is one thing I did is I aliased that command to system call, and I've added this little application up here. And what I've done is I added this little application up here. This is an extension that I'll have linked down below that you can load commands into. And this lets you add your commands. So nerd dictation begin, I've aliased to ndbeg, and nerd dictation end, nd end. Now I have these quick little buttons I can press that let me modify this file. And that's basically how I set it up on GNOME. The extension I use to integrate the start and stop commands is called command menu. It just kind of sits up in your little dock area and lets you customize actually lots of scripts that you can build yourself. I think we need one more example of how slick this whole thing works. If you like this video, you should subscribe. Also, if you want to support the channel, you can become a Patreon patron like these other awesome cool cats listed on the side. The downside that I see with this is there's a few things that if you've used voice to text on Android, you might be expecting, like punctuation support. I can't just say period at the end of a sentence. It'll literally just write the word period. So I often have my finger resting on the keyboard for the period and the question mark. I've been using this plugin the way I set it up for about a week and a half now, and it's coming really handy when I need to type something like, that burst paragraph that you need to lay out either for like an email or something. I do got to kind of go in there and clean it up a little bit when I'm done, but overall, not only is it a massive time saver, but sometimes the best way to get the thoughts from your head onto a document is to, bleh, put it out there, just vomit it into Vim. And this does a really good job of that. It's going to take a little cleanup if you want really crisp, clean writing on your project, but it works really, really good.